I get incredibly nervous for games. It doesn't matter whether I be playing for Ponty, playing for Lantred or Wales or the Lions or anyone. I'm always very nervous before games. I see it as a good sign for myself, knowing that I'm looking forward to the game, and basically I'm up for it mentally and physically. And it's not good being sick, mind you, before every game and being sick once a week.
Get into the huddle, and then 5 minutes before the huddle comes, he almost disappears to the toilet or the showers, and you just hear someone trying to vomit in the background, which is quite off-putting, but when you're used to it you just get on with it. But someone said, "Oh, what's that noise?" "Oh, it's just Jenks."
And all you could hear is the and it was that sort of that he would get, and everybody in the dressing room, the captain's trying to give a team talk, and all you know is and if he was coming in the circle with all the players where you give us all the big hug, he'd be going and everybody was like now, if you're probably watching this, you'd be going retching at the thought. But that's Neil, and it worked for him.
And that's the coaching team. Graham Henry near side, Lynn Howells.
And Graham Henry was a huge influence in the fact that he gave him a confidence. He gave him self-belief, because there was so many doubters. Everybody'd have a pop saying he's not this, he's not that. But we were always forgetting the fact that averaged so many points a game in international rugby at club level. He was closing up. And Wales weren't a great side, weren't winning all the time. Yes, we won the championship in '94, but it was thanks to a lot by Neil Jenkins making sure we got those extra points. But Graham said, believe in yourself, believe in the pass, believe in your confidence, believe in your vision. And Neil started to show that. I don't think it became outwardly, but what we saw was the fact that he stepped up to the line, he played in people's faces, and his tactical kicking became so much better as well.
But I think Henry saw in Neil not just a very good goal kicker, but somebody who would run the back line for him. Now, he changed the way Neil played. He wanted him to lie flatter and get in more in the teeth of defenders and pass the ball on to his centres outside him, and it was a role that Neil took to perfectly, and the proof was there the following year when they won 10 matches in a row. And I think that was probably his best time in the Wales shirt, because nobody, for the first time in ages, was questioning who should be the outside half for Wales.
He thought that Neil was a crucial player at number 10, which I think every coach realised that number 10 is still a very, very crucial position, and he adapted Wales' style around Neil's strengths.
He give that freedom and flexibility to Neil to show off his skills and to call in as he saw it.
Huge pressure on Neil Jenkins, but I think it made him realise that he was the commanding figure, the number 10 that really sort of dominated the issue, and I think Graham Henry was good for Neil Jenkins. Neil Jenkins was certainly good for Graham Henry.
If I ever had to pick a game where he was underestimated, was when we played France, and because he was playing flat, he started making breaks, and I don't think up to that stage there were almost questions about Neil. Was he able to make a break, not only at international level but at club level? And I think that afternoon he gave an all-round outside half display where he dropped goals, kicked penalties and made breaks, and I think that from that game he gained the respect not only of the public but more importantly the players who played against.
We just started clicking into gear from a point of view, as a team point of view. Played really well out in France, won, absolutely annihilated Italy, which we hadn't done before. We'd really struggled against Italy, but we went to Italy and put 60 points on them, which at that time, when Italy were quite a strong team, was a fantastic result, and set us up nicely then for the England game. And no one gave us a hope at the end of the day, no one gave us a chance. England, very good side.
Wembley wasn't our greatest place. I didn't like Wembley, to be honest, but we had to travel all those miles up there. And I remember going into the game, and we were very quiet, the Welsh, that day, because England were going for the Grand Slam. And I can remember they were selling England Grand Slam t-shirts before the game, and I thought, oh God,
Would you please welcome the home team? Here they come, Wales! And today's mascot,
Jenkins, chip kick over the head of Steve Hanley there, and what a kick that was. There's a great bust by Perry over the 10 metres line. There's a great chance here, and it could be a try for Luger. Oh, what a start. Neil Jenkins looks good. It is good. Jenkins, little start. The crowd thinks it's not bad. It certainly isn't. That is a remarkable kick by Jenkins. Jenkins, almost through, great tackle by Neil back, but led back by Scott Quinnell. Neil Jenkins, a great chance, there's a try for Howard, the miss pass did it.
This is the pass. And he's playing flat too.
And I knew they weren't very long left. So that's what I felt when I kicked the touch before we had the short line before Scott scored, was that it was important, I felt, to get a good kick in. And no one ever mentions the kick, but I was well impressed with my line kick, I got to be truthful.
Played about a minute and a half of injury time at the end of the game. England leading 31 points to 25. Jenkins prods Wales up to right on the England 22.
Scott Gibbs wanted the ball. He felt that he was able to score.
Let's give me the ball, I'll have a crack.
And they've only got 3 forwards in the line out, and it's been left to Chris Wyatt, and how well he did that again. Scott Quinnell, a bust by Scott Gibbs. Scott Gibbs is through. Scott Gibbs has scored. What an amazing try. Scott Gibbs' 6th try for Wales in his 30th.
He's putting his arm up. I said, get around there, get around under the post, man, get as close as you possibly can, because I knew we were still behind.
And of course, as soon as we crossed the line, and it was just no question, and I tossed the ball to Neil and said, just kick the thing, and I just put a nail in this game.
That's what he said to me, those exact words, not blinking thing, effing thing. He said, just kick the effing thing, he said. I said, oh, thanks mate, no pressure.
Graham Henry is impressed, but he's not showing any emotion because he knows that Neil Jenkins has got to kick the goal to put Wales into the lead.
Who would you want to kick this in world rugby? That man.
Of all the great goals he's kicked in his life, Neil Jenkins, this will lift the roof. Has he stuck it over? And indeed he has.
And when he kicked that, the relief that the Welsh public had, it was such a wonderful day. I can remember going outside the ground, from being quiet then at the end of the game, Welshmen were singing, saying we're going to stay up for a few days, celebrate. So for that kick alone, he deserves huge credit, and believe me, it was a pressure kick, but if any man could handle it, and I was so confident he can handle it, it was Neil Jenkins, hero of a nation that afternoon.
What was going through your mind though when you had that conversion to win the match?
I just wanted Scott to go close to the post, to be honest, but no, I felt comfortable all day with the boot, and I wasn't too worried at the end. I was a little bit, but I think the old crowd would have lynched me if I hadn't kicked it, but it's brilliant. They're just so tough for all the boys and the management and the coaches and the fans and everyone. It's fantastic.
It's really going to be a great trip home now for you and the Welsh team, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's been brilliant, to be honest. I think I have to get back. My nan ain't very well at home, so I'd like to go back and see her and wish her all the best and things. So cheers, Nan. Thanks
then
a lot,
for a player, probably one of the greatest victories for Wales, Wembley, he goes off straight away because his grandmother was ill, and he left the party immediately after the Wembley game, straight back to Wales to see his grandmother in hospital. And I think that sums up Neil Jenkins. Although he wanted to be there with the players, his family came first.